Welcome to The Explainer. Have you ever wanted to keep up with a daily spiritual practice, but then life just gets in the way? Well, today we're going to look at how a really common practical problem actually leads to this profound discovery about what devotion is really all about. All right, let's dive right in. The whole thing starts with a super real world problem. You want to do your daily worship, your puja, but things get complicated. Maybe you're allergic to incense, or, who has time to get fresh flowers every single day? It's just not practical for a lot of us. So, what do you do then? And trust me, you are not alone in this. People on forums like Reddit and Stack Exchange are talking about these exact challenges all the time. I mean, from allergies to roommates who just don't get it, these are the everyday hurdles that make people look for new ways to keep their practice going, right here in the real world. So, what are the solutions? Well, the fantastic news is that these traditions are actually incredibly flexible. They offer a ton of different physical substitutes for when the usual stuff just isn't going to work. Okay, so in Hinduism, probably the most recommended substitute is something called akshata, and it's basically just unbroken grains of rice. But it's this incredibly powerful stand-in. You can use it in place of almost anything you're missing just by stating your intention. So, for example, say you don't have any sandalwood paste. You could offer the rice and say a phrase like Gandham artam akshatan samarpayami, which just means, hey, I'm offering this rice in place of the sandal paste. You see? The real magic is in the intention behind it. And it doesn't even stop with rice. People get so wonderfully resourceful. You'll see beautiful garlands made from raw cotton, people using artificial or even silver flowers, or just making simple offerings of plain water, a piece of fruit, or some jaggery. It's really all about using what you have available to you. Now, when we talk about the fragrance part of the offering, there are so many creative, smokeless options out there, and these come from practices in both Hinduism and Tibetan Buddhism. People use everything from essential oil diffusers to simple room sprays. But honestly, one of the most powerful ideas doesn't need any scent at all. And this right here, this brings us to a really core principle we're building towards. The physical thing you're doing is just a support for your mental intention. Think about it. Even an unlit stick of incense becomes a totally valid offering if you powerfully visualize its beautiful fragrance spreading out and sending blessings to everyone and everything. How cool is that? So this idea that your intention is more important than the item, it takes us way beyond just practical substitutes and right into the philosophical heart of worship. And honestly, this is where the practice becomes truly, truly powerful. This one verse from the Bhagavad Gita, it's the cornerstone for this entire idea. It completely changes the game. The focus shifts from what you're offering to how you're offering it. A single leaf, a little bit of fruit, a drop of water. The simplest things you can possibly imagine are accepted as long as they are given with love. And this brings us to this amazing concept of bhakti. That sincere love and devotion is the real offering. The divine accepts the feeling that's in your heart, not the price tag or how perfect the physical object looks. And just to put this into perspective, a really formal Shodashapachara puja can have 16 separate, elaborate steps. It's like you're welcoming a king or a queen into your home. And that can be an absolutely beautiful practice. But what the Gita reminds us is that the simplest offering, just one leaf, made with pure love, is every single bit as powerful. So all of this leads us to the most profound solution of all. This is the one that transcends every single physical limitation we've talked about. Worship that happens entirely inside your own mind. It's called Manasa Puja. And get this, in your mind, you can create the most incredible, magnificent offerings you can possibly imagine. A throne studded with gems, divine feasts, celestial music, you name it. It's really the ultimate form of worship, and it's completely accessible to anyone, anywhere, anytime. All you need is your own imagination and your heart. What this means is you can perform that entire, elaborate 16-step ritual completely internally. Texts like Adi Shankaracharya's Shiva Manasa Puja beautifully lay this all out. They guide you to visualize every single detail, from bathing the deity in pure Himalayan water to offering these amazing feasts in golden bowls. And this concept just keeps expanding. This verse here, it transforms every single action in your daily life into a potential act of worship. The way you interact with the world, your job, even the way you sleep, it can all become an offering. Now, this incredible flexibility, this isn't some modern life hack. No, it's woven right into the fabric of traditions like Hinduism, which have always emphasized that the spiritual journey is, at the end of the day, a personal one. And you can really see this diversity when you look at the major denominations. I mean, they share core beliefs, of course, but the different paths focus on different forms of the divine, and they emphasize different practices. For some, it's all about supreme devotion. For others, it's austerity and yoga. And for followers of Smartism, the choice of deity is actually left entirely up to you. And that leads to this beautiful concept of an Ishta Devata, basically a personal, cherished deity. It's the form of the divine that you personally connect with most deeply. And that makes your relationship with the divine uniquely and powerfully your own. So you see how this works? What started as a really practical question about what do I do if I can't get flowers, it ends with this much deeper invitation. It asks all of us to see that the most profound offering we can ever make isn't a flower or a grain of rice. It's the very act of living our lives with love, with intention, and with devotion.